Right, welcome back. As you can see, I've glued on the Graviton Deflectors now onto the plasma collector walls, both sides, as you can see. But I've hit a bit of a snag. You can see on this side, between the actual plasma collector wall and the Graviton Deflector, you can see there's a bit of a triangular gap. Because even though those holes and tabs have lined up there, that should be really close to the outer wall, that section there, that little hole. Because if you look on the other side, there ain't much of a gap there, as you can see, not much, but you can see that the Graviton Deflector sits perfectly on the plasma collector wall. Absolutely perfect. So a little tip for you: when you glue the plasma collector wall on, you might need to re-drill those holes a couple of mils up a bit more, because what I'm going to do to combat that little triangle, it's not much, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of putty in there, let it dry, and then sand it down. But when I glued the actual Graviton Deflectors on, not bad at all. I glued this side first. As you can see, the tape has took all the bloody primer off, so I'm going to have to redo that. But I did put a drop of super glue around the edges and down at the bottom of the nose to help those glued on a bit more, because I had to wrap them round slightly. And on the other side as well, you can see. Also, a little thing you can see as well, those armatures there on this side, they're a bit slightly more forward than that side, and they're not level there. But I'm not worried about that. My only little concern, just a little concern, is just to fill that triangle in. But the construction is all done. Now starts the final painting and detailing. Stay with me. Right, hey guys, welcome back. I can happily say that the Kazon Raider is all finished. The last bit of painting's been done. The detailing's been done. Wash has been done, and the decals have been done, and she's all sealed. And I'm quite happy how she's turned out, actually, even though it is my first time using a black wash on this scale. So here's the final reveal. Right, there it is, guys. As you can see, all the wash that's been put on now. Not bad for my first go. Probably overdone it a bit in certain areas. Now, if you remember correctly, I last left you, I just put the Graviton Deflectors on top of the plasma walls, and you can see that little gap has gone. Put my putty in, waited for it to dry, sanded it down, and then did my last bit of painting, which was the Graviton Deflectors and the touching up where the primer had come off with the tape. Once that was done, I then started detailing. So I'd done my 1 coat of brown, and then 3 coats of the No9 Humbrol, both sides. Then I did these little crevices there. As you can see, there's 2 red, and there's 2 green, and then there's a little orangey brown. Took about 2 or 3 coats for each one, but they went down eventually. I've done that little plate there in Anthracite. You probably can't make it out, but there's purple and green. I've also did a bit of gunmetal to pick out the detailing as well. There's a little cable there, little couple of dots there, bits and bobs. I've also done a bit of anthracite there as well. I've done those 2 sections in anthracite, which I said I was going to do, and then you got a little bit of gunmetal there to pick out that bit of detailing. I've also done the warp engine running lights in the bright orange. Still got to get me one of them bloody turntables. I will get one eventually. You got the other running lights there as well. Same on the other side with the red and green and the orangey brown and the anthracite there. Again, you can actually see it a bit better this time with the light. Gunmetal, purple and green, bit of green there, bit of gunmetal. The last section on that side there. On the studio model, that's actually supposed to be on the other side. So that's anthracite, bit of gunmetal, green there. But I think it's not turning out too bad. I'm going to take it off its stand because then I did the underneath. Right, I've took the stand off now. Carrying on with the underneath. Again, guesswork, because I couldn't find any decent videos, no matter how much I tried, and pictures. So I just guesswork. Anthracite for the tanks at the side there. A bit of gunmetal for the other tanks. You got the warp engine lights there as well. A bit of gunmetal. Now basically what I did with here is I've done the running lights, red, green and purple. Both sides. A bit of purple there. A bit of gunmetal to pick out, bring out that gridding, and a bit of wiring. Then I did the anthracite for those panels. I didn't do anything with those, to be honest, because you're not going to see them. I've done that bit of gridding there with the black, and then tidied it up. Sorry, the anthracite. Then I tidied it up with the gunmetal. I've also brought these vents out in the gunmetal as well. Gunmetal for these little bit of detailing here. And a bit of purple for that panel there. I didn't do anything with these panels because, to be honest, I really couldn't get in there with a brush. The one thing I was thinking about was doing the spine detailing of the nose, because some model builders have done the spine detailing, but I left it blank in the end. To be honest, I couldn't be arsed. I just wanted to get it finished. So that's that. The stand, I've just painted that in the primer, glued it together first with that Simonese primer, and then I just went with a Halford's gloss black. And that was it. I haven't done the detailing, to be honest. Again, I just couldn't be arsed. So like I said, I just wanted to get this finished. Right, now, with the wash, I basically went on the internet to find a wash guide because I've never done a wash on this scale. So I went onto YouTube and I found a guy called Randy Cooper. Some of you probably already know who he is, and he got a big massive, say 4 maybe 5 foot Star Destroyer, and he basically got a household brush with a spray can full of water, spray bottle full of water, and then plastered it with the wash, and that's pretty much what I did. But then I found out it wasn't for me, so just turn the camera back round. Basically using the Vallejo Game Colour wash, I sprayed all over the model with the water on the one side, and then got me shading brush from Games Workshop and gave it a really good once over with the wash. But it was going very transparent. It was like the wash was already really watered down. So I got the towel, well, a bit of toweling, paper towel, and just dried it off and then went straight neat. But with my paper towel, I was actually rubbing it off pretty much straight away, and it wouldn't lay down onto the plastic. So I thought, okay, I'll re-wash it down and then let it soak for about 30 seconds to a minute, and it actually worked a treat. And then I got my paper towel in and just really give it a good rub down in the certain areas. For my first time, it's not too bad. I probably have gone a bit overboard in certain areas. But my wife pointed out a really good fact. The fact of the matter is that this is a darker model compared to the Star Destroyer, so that's why it went down a whole lot better. And plus, I was using paper toweling where Randy Cooper was using a microfiber cloth. So I know for next time, if I'm doing a lighter model, use a spray. If not, doing a darker model, just paint it on neat. Not too bad. I mean, I've got in really good around certain areas. Not too bad at all. I had to touch up a few areas here and there, because it was a sunny day outside on Saturday and it was drying really quick, so I had to really hastily start using the paper toweling. You can see on this wing, like I said, it's a bit more of a party political broadcast as I've gone down with the wash. Underneath, as you can see, it's not too bad. It's not as bad as it is on the side, but it's not bad for my first attempt. Not bad at all. But I think it's actually quite good for what I did for my first attempt. I mean, you can see that it's really gone really nice on the coloured parts. And on the warp engines as well. Probably gone a bit overboard. Then once that dried, I then put the decals on. You can see that the windows, it's mainly like an orangey yellow decal. It said it wasn't compatible with setting solutions, but I still used Microset and Microsol. You see the various windows there, there. That one I should have put there, but it doesn't matter. Tried to take it off, but it had already dried. Got a few cut around there as well. Now you got the Kazon logo decal. There was a bit of an issue with that, because you can see on the plans, the lower part of the rounded section is always on the bottom, and then the longer one is on the top, and on the other side as well. But on this side, when I put the other one on the other side, it was no problem. But on this side, I think Revell Monogram actually painted them back to front on this side, because that was on the top there. So what I did is I turned it inside out, and it was actually black both sides. But the only trouble is, when that's dried, it'll be like a matte effect. So you will have to use your clear gloss to seal that. I mean, if you can make it out on the actual picture on who's professionally done it, I don't know if you can make it out. Let me focus in. You can see, I don't know if you can see it on this side. I don't know if, no, you can't. But I can tell on this side that the longer part of the crest is on the lower part, and the upper part of the crest is the smaller part. So again, you will have to turn this decal inside out. But apart from that, she's looking really, really nice. Right, I'll put a couple of stills on at the end of this video. Again, hopefully I haven't bored you too much and you've really enjoyed this build. And thank you very much for watching.